Hello everyone, this is Toby with Birdsong Studios. How are you all doing today? I hope everyone is well and enjoying the holiday season so far. So in today's video, we're looking at the energies of the 12/12 portal and the new moon in Sagittarius because they coincide. They are occurring on the same day, on December 12th. And interestingly enough, this is a really potent new moon. Sagittarius being the archer, the person who, or the energy that pulls back the bow and launches the arrow. And I can only think of Abraham Hicks and the launching rockets of desire that she talks about as far as law of attraction and manifestation. And so it being a new moon, what rockets are you going to be launching at this time? It's the 12/12 portal. This is a very potent time for creating the new, as we talked about with the new moon, but we've had this lineup of portals, and this one feels very much like a precursor to the solstice energy. Again, we have this mirrored numbers, 12 adding up to 3, 21 adding up to 3, so we have 12/12, 12/21. And so in the 3, there's that balance of mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit. I know I feel like I'm kind of jumping around here, but stick with me. I'm bringing it all together. On the 13th, Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn. And so we have Capricorn being an earth energy, a very grounded energy. It is the goat, the one who climbs to the top of the mountain. The very Capricorn energy is very determined. It's very... what was the word I was coming through and I just lost it? Very determined, very, I'm hearing precise, very calculated in a planning, strategic type way. An energy where plans are put into place and every step is mapped out. And that's why I get with the mountain goat. You know, it's being very strategic about where you place your feet as you're climbing this mountain and reaching the summit, attaining your goal. So as we're bringing these things together, it's a really interesting layered approach. And I feel that in this sigil as well, because we have these different energies coalescing and coming together. And another fascinating thing about Mercury retrograde is that it begins on December 13th, the day after the new moon, the day after the 12/12 portal, the new moon about setting intentions and creating the new. And now we have a retrograde in Mercury in the sign of Capricorn I was just talking about, that allows us time to revamp, reconfigure, reorganize, reflect, renew. Maybe I'm hearing reschedule for some reason, our plans and our I'm hearing mental processes too. Mercury is associated with communication, but there is a mental process that goes along with that. So yes, it's very interesting how these are all coming together and playing out. So then we have the solstice pretty much in the middle of the Mercury retrograde, because that Mercury goes direct on January 1st. So what a perfect launching. We have Sagittarius, the archer, launching these rockets of desire and launching us into the new year. Not only do we have Mercury going direct on January 1st, but then Jupiter, the planet of expansion, goes direct, I think, on the December 30th or December 31st. So again, I really feel like all of these things are coalescing. They're coming together to allow us to really be launched into 2024 in a way that is in alignment. Sagittarius, the sign of philosophy, the sign of adventure, the sign of teaching, the sign of truth. it is in alignment with our truth, right? Moving forward in this way that is calculated from a point of making choices based on our alignment, not calculated in a way of being manipulative. It is very much an internal process, and making sure that we're moving forward into the new year and into new earth from an aligned place. So, with that being said, I know that was a long introduction, but it's fascinating to me, all the astrology that's going on right now. We're going to start with, I think I'm going to use the same cards. I did a live this morning, and we talked about the portal a little bit. So if you, and I did pull some cards around it. So I'm going to use the same decks. I started out with the Life, Soul, Vision, Oracle, and then I went to the Wild Unknown. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll use more than probably just those two here, because I just did a couple of cards. So check that video out if you guys are interested. We talked about quite a few different things. We talked about the portal. We talked about the Divine Feminine. We talked about ascension symptoms. We talked about dealing with fear right now. We talked about clearing. So yeah, be sure to check that out. So we're going to look at the energies around this 12/12 portal, the new moon in Sagittarius, starting with the Life, Soul, Vision, Oracle by Romy Weiser. Oh wow, Eclipse Revelations. Yeah, Destiny Speaks. Look at that. Spirit guides coming in to bring these revelations to you, and this feels like this. I mean, there's a portal there. It is speaking of the eclipse, but so what was the last eclipse? Was that in October? So things that came through to you then may be very, very relevant revelations at this time. Rise in love. And interesting, we had the collective heart come through in the live that I did this morning, and it very much about when we heal ourselves, it helps to raise the healing. It helps to raise the vibration of the collective. And so when we're rising up from a heart-centered place, because we're doing this healing work, because we are finding acceptance for ourselves, finding a place of non-judgment for ourselves, we not only then exhibit that in our own interactions with ourselves, but we begin to exhibit that in interactions with other people. And because of that, then we're spreading that energy out into the collective. And so there is something here about a message that came to you around the last eclipse. Was it on the 17th? Was it really on the 17th? I might have to look because I'm really curious now. All right. Time out. Hang on. Let me look real quick. Sorry guys, hate to do this, but I really, eclipse, when was the last one? Okay, no, there was one on October 14th, and then one on October 28th, 29th, that's right. But so I'm feeling the annular eclipse which is what is shown in this card, was on October 14th. So I feel like if you received it, I would go back, if you journal, if you make notations of some sort, even in, if it's in your phone, if it's on paper, maybe go back into your phone and look at what you were taking pictures of that day. Or screenshots that you took, if you don't recall what it was. But there's some sort of message that came through, or something that occurred sometime between the eclipse and the 17th of October that feels very, very important here, very relevant, that speaks to this destined place in time for you around the portal and around this new moon. There's something that is linked to that. And interesting. Give me just a second. We have two sevens here too with 34 and 17. 17 is half of 34. Oh, how interesting. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, whatever occurred around that time frame I was just talking about was half of the message, half of the information. The rest of the information is coming through to you during this time in this new moon. That's what it is. And we have Spirit Stag here on the bottom, and for some reason, and we have Heavenly Timing. For some reason, I'm drawn to. Can you see that? Oh, I have it upside down. Sorry about that. There you go. Okay, and let me show you the other cards too, because I forgot to do that initially. So here is Eclipse Revelations. So we have the hawk here with this, the messenger. And then we have Rise in Love, card number 34. Isn't that beautiful? I love the colors of that card. So, yes, so whatever was going on around the 14th to the 17th of October, go back however you can to try to recall what that was, and then be open to receiving the second half of the information around that at this time with the new moon, because there's something here that's coming together. With the 2 and the 2, it may, I feel like we're getting two halves of the puzzle piece coming together. Interesting how these are interlocked like this. And there are actually two lines of them. That's really interesting. And then the stair steps, it feels like layering upon the information that helps you to see the bigger picture, helps you to see the higher perspective of it, helps you to see where and how this unfolding of events was destined. So something that happened around the 14th to the 17th, for some of you it's an actual event that occurred during that time frame. And maybe you've forgotten about it, maybe you didn't think twice about it, maybe it was something that was bothersome or uncomfortable in some way at that time, but there's something that's going to occur, and it has to do with the heart chakra, because, and we're talking about rising in love because I'm feeling that activation in my chest now. There's something that will occur, or a message that you will receive from a guide, from another person, that will add depth to the information about that particular occurrence. It may be another occurrence that happens around the new moon that brings the information together, so you can gather the wisdom that comes from the learning in these situations. I hope that makes sense. That's really fascinating. And the heart chakra activation. So the guidance here is there's an invitation to pause and to do your best to operate from a heart-centered place, to not just react, but to respond out of love, to respond in a balanced energy, to respond in the energy in which you want to experience that situation. Does that make sense? So if you're going into something that's really uncomfortable, in whatever form that takes, if you go into it with the energy that you don't want to receive out of it, that's, unfortunately, that is what you are attracting, and that's what you're manifesting. So if you're pausing and intentionally entering into that situation with the energy in which you want to receive, then that's what you will experience. It is about, and we talked about this in our live this morning too, about consciously choosing to co-create with God, with Source, with the divine. So yes, and this is the rising in love too. This is the right, because when you do that too, you're intentionally raising your vibration. If your intention is to have a positive outcome, or to have an outcome that is one of peace and tranquility and harmony, even in conflict, to find balance within that, to find centeredness. And it doesn't have to, it's not about the, for some reason I'm seeing this as a interpersonal kind of conflict at this point, and it may not be for all of you, but that's what I'm getting now, and it may just be an example. But so we have no control over the other person's reaction, their words, their energy. But so when I talk about tranquility and harmony and balance, that is within you. So when you enter into a situation like that with that energy, that is, and then maintain the intention of holding that frequency, you're raising your vibration. And so even if the other person, you're feeling contrast from them, they are not at the same vibrational level as you, or they are focused on the conflict that may be between you, you are still going to feel the vibration that you entered into this with, if you maintain that intention and if you maintain that focus and you intentionally continue to, even if you're triggered, go back to that place. So this is a really important time for doing this, because again, we were talking about how important the manifestation process is during this time frame. It's not just a new moon for setting intentions and creating the new, but we have this portal of that we've been building towards throughout the year. And we can all feel how important 2024 is, right? There's been so much that's occurred, and we can all feel this building energy as we move forward. So what energy is it that you want to bring with you as you move into 2024? Do you want to be moving into 2024? Do you want to be sending these rockets of desire out into the universe of conflict and of imbalance and of disharmony within yourself? Because it always goes back to how you're feeling inside, because that determines, that's all we have control over, honestly. And that's where the empowerment comes from too, of being able to bring yourself back into that balanced place. And I know I'm saying this quickly, and I don't mean to imply that this is necessarily easy, because it isn't. It's a practice. It's a practice. And it may be, for some of us, something that we continue to practice and learn throughout our life. But it's that intention of setting forth to do that and recognizing the beauty in that process and the growth in that process and the reason for doing that, because it is important, because how you feel inside is important, and you are empowered and powerful in creating that for yourself. Okay, let's see, what are we going to look at next, guys? So we talked about the heart energy. Let's talk about, let's see, what else wants to come through here? What energies? I'm going to ask, where, I'm looking for a specific deck. Give me just a second. Yeah. Let's look at what these external factors may be that may be prevalent amongst you guys. It might not resonate for all of you, but let's see what these external factors may be that we are being invited to approach from a place of love and recognition of the wisdom that comes through them, and recognition that our response at this time, it's always important, but at this time is incredibly important because of the energies around us, allowing us to prepave the energy of what we want to experience in 2024. So let's see. Purity, ice. Look at that, card number 33. Wasn't I just talking about the threes? We had card number 33 come through in the Alive this morning too. Interesting. The 3 is very important. Let me do that again. Purity. Outer core. Fluidity. Oh my gosh, it's card number 12. The 3s again and the 12. Wow, you guys. Wow. All right, I have to take a sip of. Okay, here's Purity, card number 33. The horse and the ice. Interesting, as in the northern hemisphere, we are moving into winter, or are in winter, depending on where you are. Where am I going here? Here we go. Sorry. Purity. No, fluidity. Sorry about that. Card number 12. Outer core. So we talked about the, sorry to keep bringing this up, but we talked about this in the live this morning too. Look at how these two cards, first the figure in this card is below the ice. She's hidden. And oh my gosh, this is just what we talked about this morning. So they're bringing through the same message. It's very important. And here she's coming out of the ocean. And they're talking about outer core. And this is about speaking up. It's about shining your light. It is about, and we talked about the truth of Sagittarius and the philosophical aspect of it. So you may very well find that around this new moon or shortly after, that there is a situation that puts you in a position where you feel required to honor your integrity and speak your truth, to speak with a purity, to communicate with a purity of heart, removing any external masks. Outer core, that's interesting. There's something else to this. There's something about the emotions of that situation that are going to, there's so, see the water in this card, she's coming out of the ocean, and the fluidity, it is about the water energy, and give me just a second. Is card number 12 in the tarot the moon? Why am I drawing a blank on this? I think it is. All right. Sorry. Nah, it's okay. I won't. Anyway, it's water energy. I don't think it is. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it. That's going to drive me nuts. It is water energy. So your emotions are informing you as to, with this situation, if this arises for you, if this resonates for you, it'll be your emotions that are your signifiers, the emotions that will tell you how to proceed with it so that you are in alignment with your truth, so that you are speaking from a place of integrity and authenticity. And this is incredibly important at this time too, because we're at again, as we're moving through this portal, and it is about what we are, the energy that we are expressing to the universe, and how that then brings forward, or if it, I guess, let me get my words together here. How it does or does not bring to us what we intend, or what we truly do want. So if we're not moving in authenticity, if we're not speaking in authenticity, if we are not being honest with ourselves, we're going to find that what is manifested to us is not what we expect, probably, and probably not what we want. So it's extremely important now to allow for the integration of all the parts of us. We talked that's three again: the mind, body, soul. How are we feeling the emotions in our physical body? How are we? She's completely wrapped up with the water. So and as she is here too. But I feel like this is the breaking out part. I almost feel like it should be like this. Because I feel like this, the ice, being kind of trapped in the ice, and having your, it feels like something that is self-imposed. I feel like that is the energy that maybe you were experiencing when we talk about whatever occurred, or the messages you received around the eclipse on the 14th. This was more of the energy around you, or that you were feeling internally. And now we're being encouraged to allow the emotions, and part of it was keeping our emotions suppressed. And it doesn't have to, and that can happen in very, very subtle ways. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. But, and certainly what we're seeing here is there was reason for that. There was cause for that. It was written that way. So there's no judgment here about being in that space and that energy at that time. But that being said, now we're in a space when this comes together and the information comes together, and you're feeling at this point of discomfort, whatever it is that's occurring, allowing your emotions to flow, allowing yourself to feel into them, not in a way to analyze them, but to allow them to inform you of whether or not you're in alignment with that situation, or even how to proceed then, which path to take, which one are you in alignment with, how does it feel in your body, what are the emotions that are elicited when you think about making this choice, or making this choice, or making this third choice, or however many there are. Allowing that to inform you, because the other part of this is, again, is where I feel this very cleansing aspect. So allowing the fluidity of the release of expressing the emotions. And now I'm drawn to that it was drawn in blue, and there does, even though it's Sagittarian energy, which is a fire sign, there's a big emotional aspect to this as well. The cleansing part, we hold emotions in our cells, in our energetic body, in our physical body. So being able to purge those and release those emotions too, it has this multi-layered approach, again, just like we were talking about a moment ago, of allowing for the release of old, stored, held emotions, as well as allowing ourselves to then, let me back up. So when we are allowing for that process, I know I'm jumping around, I'm sorry. When we're allowing for that process, for the releasing of the stored emotions, we're actually clearing space. We're clearing space to be able to experience new things, but also to be able to experience things from a blank slate, without any what am I hearing? Give me just a second. Without anything being deferred, or there being a sense of opaqueness. It's not real. I don't know if that's even a word. Because there are other emotions kind of in the way, the stored emotions to what the new experience is. So you're not seeing it clearly. So when you're allowing yourself to release these things, because there is a lot of releasing going on right now, when you're allowing yourself to experience that, then you're creating space to be able to experience new things from a place of clarity. And it also gives you, you're developing a new language with your body as well. When you understand, when you allow yourself to feel the emotions in the moment, and it doesn't mean you have to dive into it. It doesn't mean, I mean, maybe it calls for curling up in the bed and having a really good cry. Maybe it's something short or brief. Maybe it's feeling a sense of grief or a sense of anger or a sense of frustration. Allowing yourself to feel it. It doesn't necessarily mean acting on it, right? But allowing yourself to feel it. When you do that, you create this language, or you create this connection and communication skill set with your body. You're learning the language of your body. You're learning how emotions feel in different places in your body. And so that when you're in a tense or an uncomfortable situation, it's not as overwhelming because you know what those physical signals are saying to you. They're saying to you, I'm frustrated. They're saying to you, I'm angry. They're saying to you, I'm hungry. They're saying to you, I'm sad, or I'm grieving, or I'm happy, or I'm excited. But this is how, it's only by experiencing those things that you actually learn the language of your body and how the emotions are expressed through that. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. This is a really big process, a really big process. And I've done a lot of talking with only a few cards here. So we were talking about the external factors. And again, it goes back to internal, but there will be something that, I'm hearing the word precipitates this, that pushes this experience forward for you, some sort of spark, some sort of impetus that creates this scenario that allows for you to really step into your power here of honoring that language with your body, what it's telling you, with the emotions, and honoring your truth and really standing in your truth as you're moving forward and making these choices. Let's see what else. So let's see what we will ask. Yeah. I'm going to start with this. We'll ask what will be most helpful, and then I'm going to pull a couple other cards too. This is, these cards are the Elemental Oracle, and what I have here in my hand is the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krantz. Her illustrations are just absolutely exquisite. If you notice on these cards, all of the illustrations are hand-drawn, freehand as well. So pretty impressive. Okay, so let's see. What other advice, what else would be supportive do we have of this as we move through this portal, please? Be supportive of us as we move through this portal with this experience. Might not be in this deck after all. Let's see. Nope. Okay. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to use a new deck. And this is also a Kim Kranz deck. And this is the Wild Unknown Alchemy. I don't know, did I say that right? Yeah, Wild Unknown Alchemy Oracle. It's interesting to shuffle these cards. I love these cards. I haven't used this deck much, so I may go to the guidebook. So just to let you guys know, we'll read it intuitively first. There is so much, I was going to say so much alchemical energy in this new moon and this portal anyway, but I was also hearing transformational when I started to say that. So, all right, let's see if I can get my fingers to work with this. What other advice, information do you have for us for this portal, please? Interesting. Contra naturam. Sorry. Contra naturam. Against nature. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. I'm going to go to the guidebook on that, you guys. We'll see what... Interesting. Card number 56, which is 11. Oh my gosh, card number 3, look at that, Mercury. Oh my gosh, Mercury! We were in Mercury retrograde. Okay. Alright, I can't see if we get that. Alright, so let's look at the first card. I'm going to look at the book. And let's see, what look at all the I'm getting a sense of fluidity here, and we had fluidity in this card. And so against nature, I'm feeling that what is going to be revealed, part of what is going to be revealed here is where you have been going against your own nature, where you have been dimming your light, where you have been making yourself small, where you have been making choices from an unhealed place, from a place of reactivity rather than response, a place that is not connected to, that's connected to your past and not where you want to be going in the future. So that's what I'm getting with against nature. Well, let's see what she has here in her guidebook, but that's what I'm getting with this. And there's with Mercury and so much, I mean, look, okay, I'm going to show you these cards. I almost forgot. Are they beautiful? Look at the blank slate we have in the middle of this card I just noticed. I mean, I noticed it before, but I didn't put it together. And we have a new moon. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. And here's Mercury. Look at the gold on the fingertip there. Launching rockets of desire through this alchemical process. And there's alchemy. And when we were talking about the emotional part, that's transmutation of energy. That's alchemy as well. When you allow yourself to feel the emotions and you don't place any judgment upon it, you just allow it to move through you, you're actually transmuting the energy into light. You're transmuting, if we're talking about energies like grief and sadness, and I'm hearing loneliness or anger or fear, by allowing it to move through you and not attaching to it and not placing a story around it, not connecting it to the definition of who you are, you're transmuting that energy. You are alchemizing those energies and integrating them so that, because we are beings of polarity. There's shadow and light within all of us, and there wouldn't be light without the shadow. So by accepting that this is part of the human experience, part of your experience, to feel these things, you're integrating them with an acceptance and with love for the wholeness of who you are. The number 3, mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit. Okay, so let's look at, oh, I just passed it. Did I pass it? Oh. Find it. Okay, contra naturam, against nature. Okay, this is exactly what I was saying. Okay, on some level, we all know when we are going against nature. We recognize it in feelings of impatience and agitation that arise when trying to force certain outcomes. The Contra Naturam card arrives to remind the alchemists they cannot control the uncontrollable. Yes, okay, so this is going a different way than I was talking about. Nature has its own way, enveloping us in a wild narrative that we can collaborate in but not dictate. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. No matter our efforts to manage every aspect of our lives, the mess ensues. Spring is soggy, the lotus requires mud. People do what they do. This card heeds a warning not to fight the flow of Mother Nature or to destiny or of destiny. Once we loosen the grip of what we think life should look like, a whole new realm of possibilities awakens. Now is the time to be radically open to what nature has in store for you. Yes, and to ponder here she has what we resist persists. So again, it goes back to what are we manifesting and what are we embodying in our energy? And if things, it's a harsh truth, guys, but if things are coming towards us that are not in alignment with what we want to be receiving, then it is up to us to consider the energy we are residing within, and at the same time to let go of, we talked about like letting go of the belief that we have any sort of control over anyone else other than our own anything else other than our own experience. And I feel like that's also what she was that's really what I'm getting from this card too, when we talk about against nature, going against our own nature, but also trying to place some sort of control over another person or an experience, something that is outside of ourselves. There's so much empowerment in that, though, because within that, then the polarity of that, the other side of that coin, is that means we are fully in control of our own experience and what we choose to experience. And it is based in our energetic signature and the energy that we are putting out into the world, and what we are allowing into our world as well. So let's see. Let's look at Mercury real quick and just see what she says about Mercury. Okay, Mercury. Oh my gosh, you guys. We talked about possibilities. In the realm of Mercury, anything is possible. The energy is transfixing and seductive, just like the metal itself. Since this planet rules commerce and communication, it's likely there are deals, contracts, and calls being exchanged that will spin you into a whirl of mercurial wonder. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Interesting. I don't really feel like this applies to her interpretation applies to our reading. So I don't want to confuse things by going too far into this, because this is about the the more 3D aspect of Mercury. But it does talk about being very aware of communications and contracts and signing things. And so as we talk about Mercury retrograde coming in on the 13th on the heels of this new moon, being very going back to what we talked about one's truth and being in integrity, and also what we're creating going forward. So if there is an opportunity that comes along, is that in alignment with you? And maybe this is the whole scenario, the whole situation that was coming up initially. It's an opportunity coming up, but is it an opportunity that you want for your future, or is it an opportunity aligned with who you were in the past? Yeah, that feels very, 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 I'm getting confirmation of that for this and this Mercury card. So I'll do another reading for Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and we'll go into that a little bit more, but we'll do that after, probably later on in the week. I think I'm going to leave it there. Oh my gosh, 47 minutes. I can't believe it. We've been here this long. Thank you guys for being here. Stay true to yourself, your authentic self, and step forward in that. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate your time, your attention, your openness to these messages. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your continued support. It means so much to me. And I will see you guys soon. Thank you.